Hey man, we getting back into it, man. Oh, am I recording? Yeah, sir. Hey man, we getting back into it, man. We about to knock out a whole bunch of stuff, man. Hey, if I don't upload 20 videos, bro, if y'all boys ever see me in real life, boys gotta punch me in my shit, bro. Just punch me. Nah, don't do that. I'm gonna take off on you, bro. That boys, I got an old fight video. I don't know if I ever showed y'all. For me, I'm fading. But yeah, I'm gonna drop a whole bunch of videos, bro. All the music I've been asking for, all these swamp stories I'm about to knock out. I done dropped behind like 4 videos on the swamp stories. Shout out swamp stories, bro. He make good videos, bro. A lot of people be hating on him because I feel like anytime you make content about like violence and gang shit, it's always gonna be people from those areas talking about, oh, bro, you didn't even know Lil Mumu, bro. Lil Mumu was the biggest shooter out there. Like, bro, come on, bro. But yeah, man, we're finna get into this new swamp story video, man. It's called San Francisco's Most Dangerous Hood, Hunters Point. So let's look up Hunters Point real quick. San Francisco. Let's go to the map. Bayview. Is that Hunters Point? What it's saying, man. Hold on, let me type of Hunters Point. Hunters Point is San Francisco, California. The shipyard? Gotta be this neighborhood then, right? This Bayview shit. Yeah, like get active over here. It's probably that. Okay. And I like to look at the map to see where we at, what we talking about. But it says Hunters Point, but Hunters Point just looks like a damn shipyard, man. Little neighborhoods right there, but yeah. So we get into this video, man. See what the boys talking about, man. So they going into it. Hey, before we get into that, video brought to you by your boy KillaCam954, aka KillaCamReacts, aka the IQ Gizzard, man. Try boys get your grind on, so you get your shine on, so you can be some neighborhood superstars and get how you live, man. Shout out Hot Boys, man. I'm gonna try to think of a way to get some merch out going, bro. Cause I don't gotta buy nothing, bro. I just want to have it available. That way I can wear it. You feel me? And if anybody else wants to wear it too, there's this website you could put merch on it and like it'll make it until somebody buys it. So I might just create some stuff on there. To get your grind on, so you get your shine on, put that bitch on a t-shirt. Let's get into this Swamp Stories, man.
Welcome back to another episode of Swamp Stories.
What's going on?
For this episode of Swamp Welcome back to another episode of Swamp Stories. For this episode, we head back to...
Hold up, yo, man. First video today is always
back
tricky.
to another episode of Swamp Stories. For this episode, we head back to San Francisco, also known as the city. For those who are not from the Bay, the city is San Francisco, the town is Oakland, the rich is Richmond, and the V is Vallejo. But today, we head to a notorious part of San Francisco.
Oh, let me make sure my audio is straight.
Called Hunters Point. Hunters Point is one of those places that you just don't go to, no matter what. Most people from the city have never been to Hunters Point, and most likely will never go either. It's tucked off in the bottom corner of San Francisco, pretty much cut off from the rest of the city. It's really its own world over there, and there is no reason to go. I don't care if the finest girl in the world asked me to go pick her up. If her address is Hunters Point, I'm not going.
Nah, you gotta slide, bro. Gotta slide on the dawn by any means necessary. That's why you gotta slide on like a little scat pad or something. You get up out of there if you get a little tricky. Don't go down a dead end.
Again, I wouldn't go if her address was East Oakland either, and definitely not Stockton. But there's no baddies over there anyway.
Hey, why you saw Stockton like that?
East Oakland either, and definitely not Stockton. But there's no baddies over there anyways, so that wouldn't be a problem. Anyways, Hunters Point is one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in California. Why is it so bad? Who's beefing with who? We will get into all that. But first, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new.
Man, let's get to this one.
Let's start off with the origins. Hunters Point was originally formed because of the shipyards in the 1940s. That's when thousands of African Americans moved from Louisiana and Mississippi to come work. So many people came and housing was short, so the city decided to build temporary housing for the workers. And they built a whole lot of it. The hill of Hunters Point was completely filled with housing by the 1950s. But then when the shipyards closed down, the residents were left unemployed. And that's when the city decided to turn it all into public housing. Residents were to pay 30% of their income in rent. Over the years, the neighborhood became the poorest in San Francisco, and today, the median income is $25,000 a year. That's in a city where the poverty line is $140,000 a year. Back in the 1970s, Hunters Point was unified. It didn't matter what project you're from or what block, it was all just one Hunters Point. Together, their rivals were the notorious Sunnydale Projects, which is the second largest public housing complex on the West Coast. The Hunters Point versus Sunnydale rivalry was awful. In fact, it's one of the worst in American history. It was so bad that in 1971, San Francisco's homicide rate was 27.5 per 100,000. That's higher than Chicago, Oakland, and Atlanta. Things were crazy, but everything changed in the 1990s. That's when a local hip-hop group called RBL Posse began to blow up. They dropped top Billboard albums in 1992 and
I never heard of them boys, no offense.
They were the hottest thing in the Bay Area, and they had the West Coast on notice. But then, jealousy and envy would take over. Let me introduce you to a man named Booby Stepney. He was the biggest boss in the Hunters Point streets when
that boy got that. He got that Terry from BMF eyeball, bitch.
An RBL Posse blew up. He was even on their album cover. Stepney was known to have made millions of dollars in the streets.
Damn.
For real. You can look it up. Despite his success, when RBL Posse became the biggest stars in the Bay Area, Stepney felt left out. He's quoted as saying RBL cut him out of the money and bailed on the hood when the royalty checks came in. He said they got some money and said they didn't want us around. He actually denied saying this in a recent DJ Vlad interview.
San Francisco Chronicle article in 2001 where you said they got some money and said they didn't want us around. They showed a lot of disrespect to me and my family.
No, I ain't never said nothing like that.
Oh, that wasn't you?
No, that wasn't me.
That wasn't me. Hey, that'd be the funniest thing ever, bro. When something is clearly you, like you just deny it to the fullest.
That quote is attested to you. The way Stephanie told it.
You clearly be cheating on the phone. So this you? Like you look at it, oh, that's not me. No, it's not me.
Just by cutting him out of the money and bailing on the hood when the royalty checks started rolling in.
No, I never say no shit like that.
You're kind of a hoe for that. You gotta stand on what you say, bro.
When the royalty checks started rolling in.
No, I never say no shit.
Or at least say, yeah, I said that, but you know, I felt like a certain type of way in that moment. Don't just deny it.
I mean, I heard him say he didn't say that, which, you know, I don't know. You know, at the time, I thought he did say it, you know what I mean? But
there's always two sides to every
story. Bro, look
exactly
the same.
I thought he did say it, you know what I mean? But
there's always two sides to every story. But either way, Stepney would make RBL Posse his biggest rivals. Things would get crazy in Hunters Point. But before we get into it, let me run the intro.
Hey, different beat. Hey. Swamp Story, Hunters Point. Yeah, them boys be drilling. Yeah, them boys be killing. Shooting in the building.
New Year's Day 1996. RBL Posse is barbecuing in Hunters Point with their family and friends to celebrate the new year, but also to celebrate the new record deal that was just offered to them. In just 3 days, they were set to sign a $1.5 million deal with Atlantic Records.
Damn, that's big, especially back then too. They are a group though, so you gotta bust that down a bunch of ways, but that's still a lot of money though.
Deal with Atlantic Records. Filled with excitement, two of the members decide to head over to Oakland to attend a party, but RBL rapper Mr. C decides to stay back and enjoy the day with family. Well, that would be a bad decision because there is a man hiding behind the project building waiting for an opportunity. The man decides to creep around the building and runs right up to Mr. C. He gets up real close, looks him in his eyes, and bam!
Damn.
This moment here set off a rivalry that hasn't stopped for the past 25 years. It completely divided Hunters Point into different sections.
It kind of split the neighborhood in two.
Yeah. Right, and that was the thing too. He said it didn't split into two. That was telling when he said, nah, it's split into one. And that let me know right there that they felt like they was already against us. It's time to move on.
Let me break it all down for you. Stepney represents a section called Harbor Road, also known as Big Block. RBL Posse, on the other hand, represent a section called West Point. And after the passing of Mr. C, these two projects became rivals, and from there, they gained their own alliances. Hunters Point really became split into two sections, Harbor Road and its allies versus West Point and their allies. West Point is allies with the Oakdale Projects and the Sunnydale Projects, while Harbor Road is allies with Osceola, Kirkwood, and the Double Rock Projects. Things were crazy between West Point and Harbor Road.
Hey, you about to take off on that lady. Whoa. Hey, you about to take off on her. Watch out.
Harbor Road. Between 1999 and 2002, there were 20 homicides just between the two projects.
Damn.
2003 brought devastating news to Hunters Point. February 3rd, 2003, RBL Posse rapper Hitman
They kind of fucked up the audio on this shit. It's like 2 beats going on.
would be in the West Point projects on a Sunday afternoon. That's when a car would
That's not me, right? That's definitely bro video fucked up.
up and bam. This loss would mean that 2 of the 3 RBL Posse rappers were gone. And at this point, Hunters Point had become an extremely dangerous place. The neighborhood bred some real savages, but none more than a man named
Yeah, them boys knocked off the rappers? That's crazy.
2004, 1 a.m. David Hill is walking up Newhall Street in Hunters Point. That's when a police car rolls up behind him. Officer Espinoza flashes his light at him and says, "Hey, let me talk to you." David doesn't turn around and decides to keep walking. Espinoza yells, "Stop."
Yeah, he has the right to keep walking. I mean, if you commit a crime, the cops don't really have a reason to detain you. Obviously, if you keep walking, they're gonna call back up and all that, but lawfully, they don't.
David keeps going up the hill, so Espinoza hops back in his car and pulls up right behind him. He hops out of the car, and that's when David Hill turns around and bam.
Damn.
David Hill walks all the way across Hunters.
See, he a shooter and all that, but that Jid is an idiot, bro. Like, you shooting a cop for no reason. That's like one of the dumbest. That's like some crash dummy shit, bro. Like,
And bam.
bro didn't want to have a life. That's just
David Hill
stupid.
walks all the way
Unless he had a bunch of dope on him or something. He was going to go to jail for life.
across Hunters Point and leaves his belongings behind the Oakdale projects. Mind you, this is a long walk all the way across the hill. After dropping his stuff off, he then walks all the way back across to West Point. He hops in his car and drives all the way across the Bay Area to the San Ramon Medical Center. He walks into the emergency room with plastic flowers in his hands and starts running around in circles. So then the hospital would call the police, who would then come and calm him down. But then they would tie him to everything that had just happened.
Dude is a
This
fucking
event
weirdo.
was a big deal in the Bay Area, and Isaac Espinoza's funeral was huge. This situation would change everything in
That just makes the cops mad at y'all now. Now the cops was probably like, you know, there was cops at the end of the day. It was probably like okay with just doing their job. Now the cops about to be on their ass.
For better or for worse, you be the judge. SFPD would build cases against Harbor Road and West Point and try to take them down
Exactly.
once and for all. They figured that they would start at the bottom and make their way all the way up to the top. Well, for Harbor Road, that strategy worked perfectly. Dozens of Harbor Road members would snitch on the boss. Stepney made sure to cover his tracks well, but so many people snitched on him that he ended up getting blamed for everything.
Damn.
He was sentenced to 21 years in 2005.
Damn.
Okay, so 8 guys cooperated
Got out though.
against you.
E40 looking
How
up.
close were you to these 8?
But really, only was close to 2 of them that I really was close with and grew up with.
Who kind of got what he deserved, kind of like bringing in, like he was saying, like we started bouncing around and dealing with other dudes. And it's like them dudes recruited so many dudes around there from Bishop to Kirkwood. And that was one of the things that kind of fractured them too, bringing a lot of outside dudes in who didn't care about pointing that ET finger at them. You know what I mean? It was like, okay.
After these takedowns, everyone expected the community to get better, but that didn't happen. In fact,
Them young boys just took
quite
over.
the opposite happened. The younger generation no longer had any sort of guidance, and they
Exactly.
jumped off the porch really young.
Reckless.
Don't believe me? Well, sadly, you'll have to believe me after hearing these stories. April 8th, 2005. It's Friday morning at Mission High School, and there's a new student.
Where's Mission High School? Let me look at it. I'm my bad, John. I like just looking it up and seeing like where the everything is. Mission High School, San Francisco. That's a little far. Is that a local high school there? That's kind of far, man, for school. Oh, these is what he's talking about. The hills right here. Oh, here's Harbor Road right there. Oh, okay. Where's the high school though? They got a middle school. Hilltop High. Alright, Mission High. It's a close high school. Let's get back to the story. My bad, Joe. You know I gotta look at the maps and shit.
April 8th, 2005.
See, everything
It's
is
Friday
proximity
morning
to
at
each
Mission
other.
High School, and there's a new student. a 15-year-old freshman who had just transferred. Well, his name is Javon King, and he's walking down the hallway when a group of freshmen from Osceola confront him. They tell him that he better not go home tonight. Well, Javon is young and he doesn't think much of it, so the school day ends and he takes the Muni bus straight home. The Osceola teens knew exactly which bus stop he would get off at, so that's where they would wait for him. The bus approaches the stop and all the kids on the bus tell the driver to keep going. They beg him not to stop. The driver decides to stop anyways because he's doing his job, I guess.
Oh, this driver's a fucking asshole, bro.
The driver decides to stop anyways because he's doing his job, I guess. Well, Javon gets up and walks off the bus. As soon
It's not a bitch though. I mean, he gonna die though. That's kind of
touches
sad.
the concrete, bam. These kinds of events became way too common in Hunters Point. There are hundreds.
That's stupid too, bro. You're just killing bro for no reason. Like, they're just a new student.
These kinds of events became way too common in Hunters Point. There are hundreds of stories I can tell, but I can't keep you here all day. Well, maybe I can. The story of Antoinisha Morgan.
Yo, Swamp.
Well, maybe I can.
Swamp. What was that,
Story
Swamp?
of Antoinisha Morgan. This here is no laughing matter. Antoinisha Morgan is a 17-year-old senior at South San Francisco High School. She is an honor roll student awaiting college acceptances. She just happens to live in Hunters Point. Well, she decides to attend a talent show at Potrero Hill Rec Center with her friends. Her friends happen to be a group of guys from Hunters Point. At the talent show, her friends get into an argument with a group of teens from the Potrero Hill projects. The Potrero Hill teens felt disrespected, so for the next week, they would drive around Hunters Point looking for them. A week goes by and they are yet to find them. March 16th, 2007, Antoinisha Morgan would be sitting outside the Bayview Hunters Point Rec Center.
Damn, how long?
A week goes by and they are yet to find
A
her.
week.
March 16th,
They caught her lacking.
2007, Antoinisha Morgan would be sitting outside the Bayview Hunters Point Rec Center waiting for her mom to pick her up. Well, the Potrero Hill teens just happened to drive by at that exact time. They would stop once they noticed her, roll down the window and yell, "You see how we do?" And before she can even say anything, bam!
Them boys some hoes for that, bro. I understand if you gotta like do what you gotta do, you feel me? Even when it comes to like shooting people, you know, if your situation gets to that point, it gets to that point. I understand trapping and all that, bro. Like when you just out here just killing people for no reason, especially girls like that, like you're a hoe to me, bro. Like that's not cool.
She can even say anything, bam!
I understand if she did something, like she set you up, or you know, she helped in the murder of your dog or something like that. Then it's, you know, it's a little more understandable.
She can
but
even say anything, bam!
She's an honor roll student.
This is the sad reality of living in Hunters Point. Anything goes. There are no rules. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, that's how it be.
Who over there is condoning these kinds of things, but it's ridiculous and sad. Before I get into the new Hunters Point, let me tell you one last story that might blow your mind. Or maybe it won't. But this story here caught me off guard for sure. August 23rd,
Swamp off guard?
2008,
Nah.
a group of men from the Oakdale projects decide to hit the Nasser Market in Bernal Heights. Barefaced, they walk in the store and take everything. Well, one of the men named Larry Blay would get arrested for it. The store owner, Tong Van Lee, is set to testify which men he recognized during the upcoming trial. That decision would be very brave, but it also makes me cringe. September 13th, 2008. It's closing time at the Nasser Market.
Pull back
store
up.
Owner Tong Van Lee is closing up after a long day. He hops in his car and starts heading home. What he doesn't know is that the Oakdale men are right behind him. They follow him all the way up to Marin County, to the
Damn. That's a bop.
quiet suburban city of Novato. Novato and Marin County rarely experience crime. So Tong Van Lee pulls into his driveway and gets out of his car just like any other day. That's when Larry Blay's brother DeAndre hops out of his car and bam! DeAndre Blay, Kevin Abram, and Otis Johnson would all get life. Well, now that you know how Hunters Point gets down, let's fast forward to the current times. Hunters Point
who's coming out of there now?
And it's still as crazy as ever. Other than East and West Oakland, it's the next most active hood in the Bay Area. Let's break it all down. The Allies are basically the same as they used to be, so let's start out with the Harbor side, also known as Big Block. Representing Harbor, you have the rapper Prezi, who blew up with his hit song Do Better. You also have Llama Llama, and then for their allies,
I've heard a lot.
Osceola,
I've heard of
which is
Prezi, I think,
represented by
before.
Swervy. Then let's head to the rival side, West Point. Well, it doesn't really exist anymore. It was all torn down back in 2014 and turned into this. There are still some people in West Point.
That's what I was seeing on Google Maps.
Left, but not really. Their allies are the ones who really took over the rap scene. The Oakdale projects are represented by Drew B's and Ice Money. Now look, I can't include everything that's happened, so I'm bound to leave most of it out. But I'll include the most important events. June 5th, 2016.
Recent active
rapper
shit.
Prezi is at the nightclub with his OG Terrence Webb. They're having a good time until a West Point man named Sean Ford approaches them. He whips out on them, and that's when Prezi and Terrence Webb whip out as well. Bam!
Whip out.
Prezi would get arrested, but would end up beating the case. That's when he dropped Do Better and changed his life forever.
Okay.
Even though they scored, Harbor was still upset about the incident. So they would try
I gotta make sure I look at that Prezi song
a
too.
West Point man named Jermaine Jackson while he's working construction.
Damn. Okay, he went down for it.
July 28th, 2018. Michael Higginbotham's brother Matthew would be hanging out in Hunters Point. That's when a car pulls up and bam. For years, Harbor was the one handing out smoke. They took 10 times more than they lost. So anytime they take a loss, they do not take it lightly. So just the next day, they would get the drop from they would drive out to Antioch and find a 19-year-old named Anthony Singh. Bam! Prezi's OG Terrence Webb would go down for it. Even after scoring again, Harbor Road would not stop. Allegedly, of course. They took down a lot of people.
Damn. 6?
October 15th,
6 for 1 special?
West Point rapper Looney the Bully is waiting in line at Frisco Fried in Hunters Point. That's when a man spots him, runs into the restaurant, and bam! Now that's the Harbor and West Point situation. Let's now cover the Harbor and Oakdale rivalry. Oakdale rappers Ice and Drew Brees have dissed Harbor for years.
Where the hell is Oakdale at? I already know, y'all. Shut up. Gotta look it up. I saw Oakdale's right there in the cut with them boys. It's just different parts of fucking West Point and Hunters Point.
Rivalry.
I said West
Oakdale
Point.
rappers Ice and Drew Brees have dissed Harbor for years. Well, Oakdale and Sunnydale clicked up together against Harbor. Together, they call themselves H2K. Despite this, they would lose 2 key members, Dietrich Whiteley and Omar Williams, also known as SP. SP was Ice and Drew B's right-hand man. Then, to make things even crazier, H2K decided to click up with Case in Oakland. Yeah. Remember those guys? That's why you see Bossland Chris shooting music videos in Sunnydale and Oakdale. Oddly enough, Sunnydale rapper Lil Kayla's boyfriend Elijah was Stubby, which are Case's rivals, and they took her boyfriend. So now everything is messy, and really all this clicking up is new to the Bay Area. H2K also associates with CML Lavish D's side of Sacramento as well. I think they need to leave.
All that shit's intertwined together.
Also associates with CML.
That's why that shit's so crazy, bro. Like in NorCal with the music, bro. You know, people be like, "Oh, why don't?" I be thinking, I be like, "Why don't bro just do a song with bro? It's gonna snap." But it's like you gotta really go down the market, but nah, cause he fuck with him, he fuck with him, and he fuck with him. So I can't do a song with him. Therefore, because he fuck with him, it's crazy, bro.
Side of Sacramento as well. I think they need to leave all this clicking up stuff to LA. This stuff is weird, seriously. Anyways, this story is crazy and there is so much more to it. I hope everything can settle down in the future because it's really out of hand. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Make sure to leave a like
good little
and
video,
subscribe.
man. I don't think clicking up is weird. I feel like it's weird if it's like y'all don't have no relationship. But say it's my street, 64th Ave, and then the 63rd Ave right here next to me, and we both got our crews and shit. You know, we doing shit together. You feel me? It's like it kind of makes sense. It don't make sense with like how they said like they fuck with them boys. Like it's one thing to fuck with them. I guess that's what he means. Cause you can fuck with somebody, you can fuck with a crew, them boys, like how they fuck with them boys in Sacramento. But being clicked up is like 2 different things. Being clicked up to me is like you sliding for each other. If you just fuck with each other, it's just like y'all make music, y'all hang out type. I don't know. But Hunters Point, I didn't even know it was going down in that part of San Francisco. Usually when I think of the hood, I just think of fucking Oakland. And I don't really know no hoods in San Francisco. I guess that part right there, Bayview, it's the hood right here. This whole southern part right here. Every time I thought of San Francisco, I always thought this part was just like all kind of nice. Besides bipping, you know, they bip everything out there. But yeah, man, let's go down in the Bay, man. Babe, we'll cap off another reaction video. Make sure y'all comment down something below. Give it a react to in the future. Without further ado. Peace.
It's like, oh, this shit real. We could really make it out this with this rap shit.
Bro, the trap music be blowing me, bro. They paying money to stand out loud with a fake brick. I'm like, bro, I gotta just go home and post with a real brick and like the same shit.
Yeah, the feds gonna come sweep you.
I just tell them I was at the trap museum. No, y'all are wrong, bro. What the fuck, street ball? That's and one street ball, bro. That's the shit where they put the ball in their shirt and smack it around and do the little loop-de-loop, hooly hoop shit, bro. That's not street ball. That's a fucking travel. Brian pulls up and saves the day. He saves Vin Diesel's butt, and I'm calling BS on this right here, movie. Unless you're telling me that Brian followed Vin Diesel after the car meet to see where he went to hopefully rescue him at this point, I'm calling BS. LA's too big, and there's no way that Brian caught Vin Diesel lacking in this alley like this.